Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Director of Football Sabotage with Livorno. So I have finished off the season, all games have been played, so today we're just going to do a little review of the season, talk about the squad and how I think things will go in the summer. So after the defeat at the hands of PSG in the Champions League, we followed that up with a 4-0 away win against Fiorentina, Dragoslav Relevich with 2, Ponce with 1 and Mazzalossi with another. We then had a home tie against Palermo and squeezed through with a 2-1 home win. Dimitar Vasilev with the both goals for them. They got a late goal in the 91st minute, but we held on for the 3 points, and I think it was at this point we were guaranteed champions. And in the final game of the season, it was against Napoli away from home. This was an absolutely fantastic game, really. Weber put us in front inside 48 minutes. They equalised almost immediately through Musa Barrow. Weber put us in front again. Idrija Zivkovic equalised. Kyle Wright put us in front instantly when we went 4-2 up in the 86th minute. They scored again instantly in the 88th, but it wasn't enough and we did manage to get away with the 3 points. So this is how the Serie A table has finished at the end of the season. We were 5 points clear from AC Milan in second and we have retained the Serie A title, which is good because the board expect us to win it every season now. Fantastic really. Not as good as last season in terms of points gained. I did think we maybe played a little bit better in some games, but too many draws this year to even challenge any sort of record points total. So it'll have to be something we look at going forward. In terms of relegations, Lazio have been relegated to Serie B. I have had a quick glance through their squad and there's nobody really that I'm immediately interested in. But once I have a further look, see their under-18s and under-21s, there might be someone there we could pinch. And again, just to review the rest of the season, Champions League knocked out by the semi-finals, the furthest we have ever got during this save. Was I disappointed? Of course I was. I thought this might have been our year, to be honest. After we'd got past Liverpool, who else did we beat? I can't even remember. It's been that long. Yeah, it was Real Madrid in the first knockout round and then Liverpool in the quarters. I really did think that this year could be our year, but as you'll have just seen there, PSG did actually go on to win the Champions League, beating FC Bayern 4-2 in the final. So we did at least get beat by the eventual winners, so we'll have to try and beat them next year. Italian Cup, inconsequential. We did end up getting to the final, matching the board expectations, but we did get beat by AC Milan in that final. Italian Super Cup doesn't really matter all that much. So in terms of some of the awards and stuff that came from the back end of the season, Ponce set a new average rating record after he had a fantastic season goal scoring wise. 31 goals in Serie A for us this season makes him the top scorer in the league. He claimed player of the year. And as you can see here, he did get top goal scorer and Relevich came second. Both of our strikers really performing well this year. The team of the year was a little bit ridiculous. It was us basically and Frank Kessie. Zango Saavedra wasn't in there. He was the one who ended up getting dropped out of our first 11. That might be a little bit telling as to where our weaknesses lie, but very, very, very pleased to have 10 players in the team of the year. Saavedra actually went on to win Defender of the Year, so how he ended up winning that when he wasn't even in the team of the year, I'm not really too sure. Plazzari missed out on Goalkeeper of the Year. Kyle Wright did get Serie A Midfielder of the Year, and Ponce and Relevich were both in the running for Striker of the Year. So that brings us on to the squad and what I think is going to happen during the summer transfer window. Obviously, Ponce is wanted once again. He's worth £84 million. He's had the best season he's ever had for us. And I think he's probably the best striker on the game at the minute. 20 off the ball, just incredible technical abilities, incredible physical abilities. And I do think this season might finally be the season where Ponce leaves the club. We bought him for £12.5 million 3 seasons ago and he's performed fantastically ever since. But I think it's probably time that he left the club. Not that I want him to leave the club, by the way. I'll preface this. I think it's about time that our director of football will accept an offer and the AI will finally click to say, oh, if we make a £100 million offer, my director of football will probably accept. Dragoslav Relevich is not currently wanted, but it wouldn't surprise me if he attracted interest during the summer transfer window. And we could lose both of our main strikers this season. That was one of the main reasons why I signed Weber for such a big fee last season, expecting one of them two to leave either in the January transfer window or in this window, and he would be a ready-made replacement. He performed well, 19 goals and 27 starts over the course of the season for us, and he's a bit unfortunate with the lack of playing time that he did get, but I tried to give him as much as humanly possible. That brings us on to Saavedra, who came third in the average rating. A fantastic centre-half. Is he a tier 1 centre-half? I don't think he is. I think he's a tier 2 centre-half. I think both of our centre-halves are just that level below being top of the game. And it's going to be another area where once again, I'm sick of saying this, I'm looking for centre-halves during the summer transfer window. I don't have a lot of money. That's the issue. And we'll talk about finances and stuff after. So that might limit me a little bit. And it's part of the reason why I'm a little bit more easygoing on the terms our punts might leave. Because we do actually need the finances. So Zango is the other centre-half. He came fourth in the average rating. As you can see, he is a well-rounded centre-half with fantastic physicals. But he's not like top tier, and I think our weaknesses did come in the Champions League at the very least in the defence. I think the two centre backs were the weakest part of our game, along with our wing backs, mind you. But I think that's more due to them not being natural in the position more than anything else. So Zango and Saavedra. Saavedra is obviously going back to Manchester United, and I'm not willing to pay the £50-odd million they would want for him. So we will be looking for a centre half regardless of what happens. Ventroni, right wing back, he performed extremely well. 7 goals and 17 assists in 49 games. We signed him a bit of a panic buy, really. 21.5 million from Man United, but he's been our starting right wing back ever since. He's performed really well, and it's not an area of the pitch I'm looking to improve. Kyle Wright had a really great season, goal scoring wise from central midfield. 17 goals and 5 assists in 42 games. I wouldn't be that disappointed if I lost Kyle Wright, to be honest with you. Attribute wise, I've got somebody coming in who I've preempted my director of football selling at least one of my centre midfielders, and I'll show you who I've brought in after. So if it is to be Kyle Wright, I don't mind. Honestly, I don't mind. Dimitar Vasilev had a great season at left wing back, 50 appearances, 7 goals and 18 assists. We of course still have DeMarco at the club as our backup. He is wanted by Manchester United, so potentially we might lose him. Pizzulo, absolutely fantastic player. Our best out and out central midfielder, hands down out of the three. 3 goals and 10 assists in defensive midfield. He was playing the more deep lying playmaker role, whereas Kyle Wright and Mazzolossi were playing the Metzola role, so they were getting more involved in the attack and stuff. So you're not going to see the output from him that you would from the other two, but he is our best central midfielder. We've already spoke about Weber. Altenaer, there's another place where I think we could really improve our first 11. So I'm talking 2 centre-backs and attacking midfielder. I think that could be huge areas where we could see the difference next season in the Champions League. He's a fantastic player. He plays really well. He's Italian. He's super loyal. He turned down a £60 million bid from Bayer Leverkusen to stay here. So it does irk me a little bit that he's not as good as I want him to be. He had a bit of a poorer season this season, 6 goals and 8 assists, whereas last season he was absolutely on fire with 14 goals and 13 assists in all competitions. So that's an area where we'll have to look to improve. Patrick, he's just turned into a world-class defensive midfielder, wonder kid, absolutely blossoming at the team, playing in that D mid role. It's not an area we need to be concerned with. Mazzolossi, he's another one who, out of the 3 central midfielders, we've got Kyle Wright, Solossi and Pizzulo. If one of Solossi or Kyle Wright leaves, I think we don't even need to sign a replacement. We're going to be well covered. So if he is to leave, it will be a little bit gutting because we did sign him a long time ago, £1.4 million, 4 seasons ago, and he's been a mainstay ever since. He is currently unhappy at the club because I didn't offer him a new contract. Barcelona and Spurs are sniffing due to that. Anyone else I really want to talk about? Plizzari had a decent season. He's now getting towards his prime as a goalkeeper, but that means his potential is now done. Eorton Cruz, our backup, I might start playing him next season. He's got that potential to grow. I think he'd be better than Plizzari once he meets that potential. He's only 21 years old. I tried to give him game time, but I sort of struggled to give him game time, so I might force myself to do it next season. DeMarco, as I mentioned, got a lot of appearances off the bench because obviously our wing backs are one of the key areas where you're bombing up and down the pitch, but he's declined quite massively this season, I think it's fair to say, and he will just remain that a backup. So if Vasilev was to leave, I wouldn't be expecting DeMarco to make the step up into starting left wing back. Diego Cafagna as well, he's been our backup right wing back, made 7 starts, 26 appearances across all competitions. I think he was a little bit unhappy during the course of the season this year. I wouldn't mind keeping a hold of him just as a backup, but if he's to leave, it's no big deal. One more player I do want to talk about is Stanimir Stoichev. We signed him think it was beginning of last season, or it was either in the January transfer window, £2.4 million. And he was just being rocketing up all season in terms of his attributes, just flying up. So if Vasilev or Ponce was to leave, only one of them, I'm thinking maybe I just don't sign anybody and I keep him, and I make Ponce and Weber, or Ralovic and Weber, our starting strikers, and Stoichev to be our third choice. Give him as much game time as I possibly can. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think I should be chucking this guy in, or should I maybe send him out on loan for this season? I'm a bit unsure. It all sort of depends on what happens during the summer transfer window. Belangioli is still here. He is an icon at the club, if you couldn't remember. We got him, I think it was our first youth intake, we got him. And he's been at the club ever since. He was our starting right back for a number of years. He doesn't get any games now, but I'm still clinging on to him. I don't want him to leave the club. So I did allude to the financial issues that we might have this season. So as you can see, this was the beginning of this season. We were on £56 million, and we are consistently losing money due to our high wage budget, I think. Our finances, our sponsorships, all of that haven't really caught up to the sort of level of wages and the level of competition we're at. But hopefully this season might be a little bit different. We are going to be moving into our new stadium in this 28th of June of this year, so we're going to have the increased revenue of the increased attendances. Hopefully our board will sign some new sponsorships, because of our poor financial situation. Our transfer budget for the summer is only £18.6 million. Now we do have about 300 grand sitting there in the wage budget available to play with, but some of that might end up getting taken up by increased wages for our first teamers. The likes of Patrick's still on 45 grand a week, and I've tried to hold him off as long as possible, and he's the kind of guy I really don't want to piss off. I really want to keep him at the club, and I want him to be stable at the club, and if that means giving him bigger wages, I'm going to have to, which eats into our budgets altogether. So our incomings this year are really dependent on the outgoings. That's why I'm not so bothered if Ponce goes for huge money, because if he goes for huge money, that means I get huge money and I can improve the defensive midfield areas and the attacking midfield areas that I think really require the improvement. Now, in terms of the player that's coming in for the central midfield role, you see I've got an offer in for a centre back here. It's not going to get accepted. He's got a £73 million minimum fee release clause, and I'm just trying to unsettle him, to be honest with you. So where is he? Jonathan Jovino. He is 8.5 million in central midfielder from Argentina. So he's going to be the South American non-EU player that comes in for us this season, which means we can't sign anyone else from the non-EU unless we let someone from the non-EU go, like Nawel Ponce. So absolutely fantastic physicals. He is coming in to be a Matt Solossi or Kyle Wright replacement. I am anticipating one of them leaving the club. I'm kind of hoping one of them leave the club now. So he's coming in. I thought he was too good to turn down at £9.5 million. So he's coming in. Do I see us winning the Champions League next year? I don't really know, to be honest with you. It all depends what happens in the summer. If we go into the next season with the exact same squad we've got now, I don't think so. I don't think they're good enough. I don't think defensively we are strong enough. Our goalkeeper's a little bit weak. Our two centre-halves are not top tier. Our wing-backs are more attacking players than anything. So if we are to push on and get further than the semi-finals, we really need to improve the centre-back position. Anyway, I'm going to go away, play through the summer transfer window, and the roundup will be the next episode. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, and if you are enjoying my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.